Hello, Steve. I want to ask you about used to, and I really want to know if, of course, it's possible to use used to instead of past forms of the verbs. For instance, I used to drink a lot milk when I was little, or not to say I drank a lot milk when I was little.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a little bit easy when you use used to an infinitive form of the verb. And for not native English speaker, it's really hard to remember all of the past forms of all of the verbs. And if this is possible, I will be very happy. And really, thank you and wish you all the best. Bye-bye.
Well, Helen, thank you very much for your question. It's a great question. I'm sure that a lot of other people find using irregular verbs in the past a bit of a pain, a little difficult to use. So we're going to jump into that. I'm going to practice them with you so that we can make some fun out of it. Jump into it. So the first thing that I want to ask you guys is the following. Did you have to learn irregular verbs at school? Because a lot of people did. They had to learn irregular verbs at school. And it's basically just repetition, people putting it on the teacher writing it on the board, repeat after me. Maybe you remember that. And you can see that I've listed a whole bunch of different irregular verbs here. And this is what Helen's talking about in terms of irregular verbs. Drink, drank, drunk. Fall, fell, fallen. Feel, felt, felt. Come, came, come. Ooh. Write, wrote, written. Eat, ate, eaten. Sing, sang, sung. Fly, flew, flown. Okay, so I tried to write down some of the most irregular verbs that give my students a lot of difficulty. So I want you to look at the first example with me where we have, I used to drink a lot. This is what Helen was asking about. So we have, I used to drink a lot. And then you can, what does that mean? It means I don't drink a lot anymore. So there's a lot of meaning inside used to when you say that. I used to drink a lot, but I don't drink a lot anymore. If you compare that with I drank a lot, there's a big difference here when there's no time reference. So when you say I drank a lot, when is it? Last night on your birthday? Well, when did you drink a lot? We really don't know. Let's say that you specify a time. So let's say, how about you watching my lesson? Did you, when you went to university, I promise I won't tell your mother. When you went to university, did you used to drink a lot? Was that the time? Because here in North America, that's the time that everybody used to drink a lot, was when we were at university. So when you're at university, we tend to exaggerate things a little bit, including drinking. So you can see that. Um, I used to drink a lot when I was in university. I used to drink a lot when I was in university. So what does that mean? It implies you don't drink so much now. This is the difference. Because if you say, I drank a lot when I was in university, that's a little different. That's a little different. When you say, I drank a lot when I was in university, we don't know. Maybe you still drink a lot. So if you want to tell your mother, Mother, don't worry now. I'm a little older and now I don't drink as much when I was in university. If that's the case, then I would really recommend that you use this verb tense that Helen was talking about. I used to drink a lot when I was in university, but you don't now. Used to means something that you really don't do anymore, but you did with frequency in the past. Does that make sense? Because I know used to is not used in a lot of languages. But that was only half of Helen's question. She was asking verbs, they're kind of difficult to remember. So we have some others here, and these are examples of songs. And this one is a quite recent song. This is by Gautier. This is from 2011. Do you guys remember this song? It's got millions of views on YouTube. So probably you remember it. And you can see that they're using that in the lyrics. Somebody that I used to know. Somebody that I used to know. Well, what does that mean? What does he mean when he's saying that? He's saying that I knew you before, but this person that you are now, I don't know who that is. So I used to know you, but you've totally changed. The past is the past, and you're not the same as you were. That's what that means when you say somebody that I used to know. Example, there's another song. Does anybody recognize who this band is? This would be for people who would remember around 2008, one of the top 10 hits, one of the top 10 songs. Maybe it was the soundtrack of your life, this band here. Does anybody remember who that is? If you don't, that is, drumroll please, that's Coldplay. And in their song Viva la Vida, more of an English pronunciation, Viva la Vida, we would say, I used to, this is the first part of the song. I used to rule the world, seas would rise when I gave the word. Do you remember that song? I used to rule the world. Maybe you remember that. Yeah, Coldplay. You do remember. We also have this one. This is for students who are a lot older. This is from 1995. So this is for any older students out there who might remember this. This is Don't Speak by the band that was No Doubt. And at the beginning of the song, same thing. So it's like, you and me, we used to be together. Maybe you remember that song. Ah, we have some people who love this band. That's great. We can see these are examples of verbs in the simple past, and these are common mistakes that I see my students make. Can anybody watching this lesson tell me which letter they think is correct? I felt down on my way to work. B, I fallen down on my way. So the answer is, drumroll please, letter C. I fell down on my way to work. And that's fall, fell. So if you thought that the past of fall was fell, give me a high five. High five. Yeah. You rule the world. Yeah, you rule the world because if you can dominate, if you have a command of those irregular verbs in the past, then you will rule your English. Daddy has just come home, or daddy, or letter B, daddy has just came home. A lot of people mix this up. The answer here is letter A, daddy has just come home. So be very careful. The past participle of come is come. World watching this, which letter do you think is correct? She sung a song, A. B, she sang a music, or C, she sang a song. Which one do you think is right here? If you thought it was she sung a song, you're not alone, and a lot of native speakers make this mistake too. So the answer is letter C. She sang a song. Yes, yes. So letter C is the correct one. If you thought that it was letter A, don't feel bad, because I think a lot of native speakers would make that mistake too. Woo! Yeah, I see a lot of C's. I see a lot of C's in the answers for the people that are watching this live. Great. And we can go to the next one. Answers, possible answers here. The sun risen above the clouds. B, the sun raised above the clouds. C, the sun rose above the clouds. Which one do you think is right? The sun rose above the clouds. I have my cat Sapphire here, who's really huge. It's okay. It's okay. Then the sun rises by itself, but Sapphire, I can raise Sapphire. I can lift her up. I can raise her. So when you lift something, you raise something. When something rises, it goes up by itself. So this is all about the question between raise and rise. Raise and rise. So rise means things go up by themselves. Like I was talking about, they rise. So for example, hot air rises. It goes up by itself. Baked bread rises, hot air rises. Maybe have you ever taken a hot air balloon ride? Then we say that you raise your hand. That's different. So that, when you say raise, that's what I was doing with my cat just a second ago. You lift something up, even your hand, and you can say raise your hand. Raise is a regular verb, so we say raise, raised, raise. And we have one more, which is to lie. Now, this isn't like Pinocchio lie, like to tell a lie. No, this means to lie on a couch or lie on the couch. Lay on the couch last night. So that's the irregular past of lie. So we have lie on the couch, present, I lay on the couch. So that's an irregular verb in the past. And if you want to use the past participle, it's I have lain here since this morning. I've lain here since this morning. So try to remember that, because that verb, irregular verb, is used. It's not something abstract from a grammar book. You could say, you know, I like to lie down on the couch. I lay down on the couch last night and I fell asleep. I think a lot of people would say I lied down. It's grammatically incorrect, but they probably say that. And then I have lain down on this couch many times. Many times. You could say it that way too. Hope you enjoyed our lesson, and I hope to see you tomorrow in our YouTube live lesson. That's going to be Saturday, November 10th. Maybe I'll go outside and do a lesson. We will see. And that will be at 7 p.m. GMT. So I hope to see you there. Bye, everybody.